Okay, Be'ezat Hashem, Naaseh v'Natzliach.
Amen.
I want to welcome you to the HALLANDALE Beacon Tower Lunch and Learn as we continue our learning of Parashat Shavua. Baruch Hashem, we're on our fourth cycle over here. We got upgraded to a much bigger area, bigger conference room, bigger setting, and also, as you can see, also the spread grew. Besides the fact that we have a generous sponsorship from Hummus Factory, who always gives us beautiful fresh fruit every week, the guys over here also start to pitch in. There's desserts now, there's snacks. So Baruch Hashem, I want to thank you guys for making this even better than what it normally is, for all the guys that are pitching in. I want to also give a very, very honorable mention to our gracious host, Joseph Dornbush and the Dornbush family from H&M Builders, Judah Mendel from Mendel Law, and Hummus Factory again for sponsoring this class for so many years and making it happen. And also I'd like to give an honorable mention to this week's special sponsor. This week we have an additional sponsor, and it's our good friend Pesi, who is sponsoring it in honor of her husband Dov. And we would like to dedicate this class to Pesi's husband Dov Shmuel ben Sarah on his upcoming Hebrew birthday in Yud Gimel B'Tevet. Also, may Hashem bless him with health, parnasa, shlom bayit, and Yiddish nachat. And may he continue also on may he also come closer to Hashem and his Torah. And also may Hashem help him to help other Jews. And also, maybe this will be to the Ilui Nishmat, but this class will be dedicated to the yortzeit of his father, that is also on Yud Gimel B'Tevet. Very interesting. Yechiel ben Dov and ben Chaya, and should have an aliyah. And Dov's mother, Sarah bat Shmuel and Dinah, that she should also have an aliyah. I personally want to thank you for your great addition to our class. Ever since you started coming, there's a better energy in the room. I always feel that you add to us, especially that Petsy's also been coming. I remember she used to come all the way from Boca, all the way to downtown Miami. We really, really, appreciate you guys, and we love you guys. And Bezat Hashem, you don't stop coming, and you bring more friends as this class continues to grow and grow. I also want to give an honorable mention to Isaac and to Rami that are always here also and making this happen. Each one is a piece in the puzzle. Okay, and may this be also to the Ilui Nishmat of David ben Zohara, Yaniv ben Rinam, Shmuel ben Amuma, and Avraham Halevi, Moshe Halevi ben Shoshana. And also that this lesson would be to the bringing of Mashiach. Today is Yud B'Tevet. What some of you might not know, this is the day that in the high heavens in the court, they sit down, they decide, is Mashiach going to come this year or not? It's a very, very big day. It all depends on our teshuvah. It all depends on our tefillah. It all depends on our Okay, let's get started. Yes?
The Yurtzat of his father is on Shabbat this year.
Really? Okay, Bezat Hashem also will have a big Ilui Nishmat on Shabbat, because Shabbat, you know, is a Mekor HaBeracha. Okay, Parashat Vayechi. This is it. It's the last parasha of Bereshit. It's, I can tell you, for me, there's certain books that make me feel happy and certain books that make me feel sad. I love all of Bereshit. If you hear me in the beginning of Bereshit, I want to get stuck on that parasha the entire year. But when it comes to Vayechi, I have a little bit of sadness, because Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov are behind us. The whole story with the Avot, there's so many things that you get so close to them. You feel like you get to know them a little bit better. And here we are, Vayechi. This is the end of Yaakov, and then we go into the Shvatim, Shemot, Mitzrayim. It's a whole different energy. So I myself always feel that, I'm not really saying goodbye to the Avot, but it feels like that in a way. So last week's parasha, we got to the part of welcome, that Yosef finally does the big reveal. He reveals himself that the viceroy of Egypt is actually the brother's long-lost brother Yosef. And after the high dramatic scenes over there of the brothers and Yosef meeting, the parashat ends with Yosef asking the brothers to go back and bring their father. Bring my father to me. Bring him over here. Over here, I'll be able to support you guys. I'll be able to feed you. I will be able to take care of you, and I'll be able to see my long-lost father that I haven't seen for so many years. And this, in just to show you the energy, the feel of what's going on, in Perek Mem Hey, Pasuk Tet Zayin and Pasuk Yud Chet, it says, Vaitav be'enei Paro u'be'enei avadav. This whole idea of Yosef bringing his brothers and his father to Egypt, it found favor in the eyes of Paro and in all his servants. Vayomer Paro el Yosef. Paro comes to Yosef and he tells him, Emor el achicha zot asu. Tell your brothers that this is what they should do. Ta'anu et beirechem ulchu ubo arza Canaan. He says, come, upload all your household and bring them over to where? To Canaan. And he says, and take your father and take all your household meaning your wives and your children, and come to me. And I'll give you the best of Egypt. And you can take the cream of the crop of the land. Rashi tells us, what is Tuv Eretz Mitzrayim? What is the best of all Eretz Mitzrayim? The city of Goshen. Wow, what an invitation. Not bad. Continues to Perek Mem Vav in Pasuk Vav and Zayin. It says over there, ויקחו את מקניהם ואת רכושם אשר רכשו בארץ כנען ועברו מצרימה. They picked up all their belongings, they picked up everything that they acquired while they were living in Eretz Canaan, and they came Mitzrayma. ויעקב וכל זרעו איתו, and Yaakov and all his progeny is with him. בניו ובני בניו איתו, בנותיו ובנות בניו וכל זרעו הביא איתו מצרימה. In other words, they brought the entire family, they didn't leave anyone behind. Here, I want you to pay attention to the word Mitzrayma. Why was it called Mitzrayma? Well, you can say that grammatically it means that they went to Mitzrayim. When you put a hey at the end of Mitzrayim, and we're going Mitzrayma, it's like we're going to Mitzrayim. However, if you pay attention to the spelling of the word, when you take Mitzrayma, mem, the letter mem on the bottom of the letter, there's a little bit of an opening. And hey also has an opening to signify to us that at this point, Mitzrayim, you can come in and you can leave. We continue to Mem Vav Chavchet. I'm just going to read you some of these core pesukim that are going to help us build the class. It says that when the time came to pick up the entire family and go to Egypt, Yaakov gives instruction to Yehuda. Ve'et Yehuda shalach lefanav el Yosef lehorot lefanav Goshna vayavohu arza Goshen. It says Ve'et Yehuda shalach. He sent Yehuda lefanav, before everybody, to who? To Yosef. Lehorot lefanav Goshna, in order to prepare Goshna. Here we go. We just learned that the name of the city is Goshen. Why is it here called Goshna? He says, Yaakov tells Yehuda, go and put the hay in Goshen. Go put Hashem in Goshen. Go build a synagogue. Go build a yeshiva. Go build a place where our children are going to go and where we're going to live. Go put the hay in Goshen. That's why he said lehorot. You know, horot comes from the word hora'ah, like Torah. It's a set of instruction. He gave him instruction to how to go make Goshen kosher. Put the hay in Goshen. Now, on the same token, when he says that we're going to go Mitzrayma, he's also telling them by putting the hay in Goshen, we're going to be able to also put the hay in Mitzrayim. Because when you put in Mitzrayma, means that you are going to come now and have Hashem in the city called Mitzrayim. If we go now to another pasuk, Mem Zayin, pasuk Vav, it says over here, Paro is now speaking to Yosef and to his father and to his brothers, and he tells them, after welcoming them to Egypt, he says, Eretz Mitzrayim lefanecha, Hi bemetav haaretz hoshev et avicha ve'et achicha. He says, the land of Egypt is in front of you. Take your brothers and put them in the best place that you want, the best part of the land, the cream of the land. Put your family over there. Ve'yeshevu be'eretz Goshen. Over there they should live in this place called Goshen. Ve'im yadata ve'yesh be'em anshe chai ve'samtam serei miknei al asher li. And he says that if you know, if your brothers are these stand-up guys that are responsible and that are I can use them and they're like you, because Yosef, you're amazing. You became the second in command. If your brothers are anything like you, I can even employ them. I can even give them work. Wow, what a welcome. Imagine, Paro is giving the proper welcome to Yosef's family and giving them the best of the land and telling them, you're welcome. You're a welcomed guest. You're a welcomed, you're a beloved resident alien. You know, we can see that nowadays when we have this subject of immigrants, you know, you see that we're split. Some people want them, some people don't want them, some people love them, some people don't love them. The Republicans want them because it's another 2 million votes. And other people, some of the American citizens don't want them because they say, you know what, they're going to take away from our jobs, let them come in through the proper immigration channels. You know, it's split. Over here we see Paro is saying, bring them, we'll give them the best of the land, I'll employ them. What a welcome. You have to recognize the feeling of what's going on over here. However, at the end of Parashat Vayechi, and keep in mind, we're in Parashat Vayechi. Everything that I'm telling you is from last week's Parashat. At the end of Parashat Vayechi, in Perek Mem Zayin, Pasuk Chav Zayin, there's a turn of events. Something very, very, very interesting happened. Yaakov and his family, Shiv'im Nefashot and their children, are now living for a period of time in Mitzrayim. And if we want to zoom in and be like, okay, you know what? Give me an update. How's Yaakov and his family adjusting in Egypt? Pasuk Chav Zayin tells us. It says, Vayeshev Israel be'eretz Mitzrayim be'eretz Goshen. What? It says that the Jewish people, Bnei Israel, the children of Yaakov, are living in Mitzrayim, in Goshen. Now you have to understand, something is missing here. What's missing? The hay. All of a sudden, they're not in Mitzrayma, they're not in Goshna. Right now, they're now in Egypt proper, inside of Mitzrayim. And what does it say over there? Vayechezuva, vayifru, vayebu me'od. Vayechezu means that they controlled it. They acquired a lot of property. They purchased real estate. Vayifru, vayebu, they became fruitful, they multiplied. So here, just to give you, just to summarize it, here they are, a family of a distinguished viceroy, Yosef. They come to Mitzrayim. They are welcome. They're giving the best town of all of Mitzrayim called Goshen. Yaakov tells his son, go prepare it for us, that we can put the hay in Goshen, that we can put the hay in Mitzrayim, and that we should have our own little area, our own little Jewish ghetto, where we can do whatever we want and not be part of the Las Vegas Tum'ah environment of witchcraft and adultery and all the things that are going on over there. And when we fast forward to see just a little bit to the end of Parashat Vayechi, we see that the Jews are not in Goshna. They're not where they're supposed to be. They went into Mitzrayim. They didn't stay within the area where they're supposed to be. They went into Mitzrayim. They started to acquire buildings. They started to go into the markets. So I'll give you an example of what's going on. They're walking around, and it's like, oh, look at this high-rise over here. Shimon, Reuven, What do you say? Maybe we should take this real estate. Looks like Egypt is up and coming. Okay, sure. Start going around buying buildings. They go over there, they see a little shuk. You know, over there called the souk. You go to the shuk, they say, oh, it's selling leathers and fabrics and spices and all these different trinkets. I said, wow, there's big commerce. A lot of people are coming from all over the world over here. It's a busy mall. Maybe we should open up a store over here. And they do. You see the guy with the leathers making a lot of money, they go to open up right next to him. Leathers, but with a new sign, 50% off. They see the guy with the spices, oh, super busy, people standing online. They open up a spice store right next to him, 50% off. And all of a sudden, the Jews are rocking and rolling. They're making money. The guy is next to him, can't make a dollar, can't make a living, but the Jew is now racking it up. So the Egyptian now goes home, and his wife tells him, why are you so cranky? Why are you so upset? Why are you so angry? He goes, I can't make any parnasa. Ever since the Jews moved in, I can't make a dollar. What I used to sell for $100, they're selling for $50. They're undercutting me. So, come on, forget about things. Come on, let's go out. Let's go out for a walk. You know what? Let's go to the amphitheater. In the amphitheater, there's a beautiful show. They go to the amphitheater. They come to get 2 tickets, please, for me and my wife. Sold out. Sold out? What do you mean? Shows are never sold out. Yeah, this Jewish guy just came in with his 62 children. He bought the last 62 tickets. There's no more tickets. What? His wife said, calm down, you know what, forget this amphitheater. There's a little cinema over there, a little show that they do over there. Let's go take a walk over there. They go over there, I'd like to get 2 tickets, please. Oh, I can't. Why? Oh, there's 2 Jewish families just came and bought the last 152 tickets. What? It's not enough. At work, I can't make money. In my leisure, I can't say, oh, and all of a sudden, anti-Semitism is born. All of a sudden, the hate for Jews comes into the picture. Why? Because they can't make a dollar at work, and on their pleasure, they can't even enjoy themselves because the Jews are everywhere. You are supposed to be in Goshen. What are you doing in Mitzrayim? You're supposed to be in Goshen and making it Goshna with the hay over there. What are you doing over here competing with me? So we see, if we go, we're going to skip our Parashat Vayechi, and we're going to go to next week's Parashat Shemot, and we're going to go to the first. We're going to go to the first chapter, the 7th pasuk Zayin. Look what it says. Uvnei Israel. I'm going to fast forwarding sometime also over here. Uvnei Israel paru, vayishretzu, vayirbu, vayatzmu, bim'od me'od, v'timale ha'aretz otam. It says that the Jews, I'll read it in English for you. It says, the children of Israel were fruitful and increased and became strong, and not very, very much so, bim'od me'od, and the land became filled with them. In other words, in just a very short period of time, because Rashi says they would give birth 6 babies at a time. So you could imagine, all of a sudden, you had a resident alien, a family of 70 people that just moved into the neighborhood. Oh, sure, come be in Egypt, we love you guys. All of a sudden, we became millions. Everywhere you look, there's Jews. They can't work, they can't make a living, and they can't enjoy themselves. Because everywhere they turn, there's a Jew in their way. As a matter of fact, I heard a beautiful chidush. It says, "Vatimale haaretz otam," and the land filled with them. Not otam, rather itam. What's itam? They started to be just like the Egyptians. They started to look like them, talk like them, behave like them. They started to mimic the Egyptians in Mitzrayim. In other words, also if you take the word itam, comes from the word hat'im. The hat'im is when you try to match yourself, you try to mimic yourself. In other words, they try to blend in. Hey, I'm just like you. I love the NFL. love the NBA. Yeah, let's talk about what's on TV. Let's talk what's on the, all these different things. It started to, let's talk about what was going on in Mitzrayim. Let's talk about all the different things that they would like to, blend in with them, let's say. Well, after a period of time of going through this process of a family of 70 people coming in, becoming a multitude of people within a multitude of people, what is the feeling? Well, we said it's anti-Semitism, but what's the next step up after anti-Semitism, after hate broods? After it broods? After the hate? Hava nitchakema lo. It says in Pasuk Yud, let us outsmart him. Why? Before it becomes more people than what it already is. And it says there might be a war and he's also going to become our enemy. And all of a sudden he's going to fight us, he's going to take over. Fear. Hate brings fear. Fear usually comes from hate. And Pasuk Yud Gimel says, "Vayavidu Mitzrayim et bnei Yisrael befarech." They couldn't tolerate it. Things started to deteriorate for the Jews. When we come to Sefer Shemot, we'll talk about it more in details. But we know the story that they started to make them work, hard work. Vayimareru et chaim ba'avodah. They made their lives bitter with hard work. B'chavodah kasha, b'chomer v'nim, b'chol avodah basadeh. Everything they made them work, and they turned them into slaves. How did that happen? How do you go from being a welcome guest, a beloved resident alien, to a slave? It's very simple. To defend the Jewish side, we all know how to do it. I would like to play devil's advocate in this class. And I'd like to see it from their side. Let's see what they could possibly think. And by the way, disclaimer, I'm in no way justifying it. I'm just playing devil's advocate. At the end, we'll wrap it up nicely in a bow. But let's think outside the box. The Mitzrayim, the Egyptians, were basically saying, we liked you. You know when we liked you? When you were in Goshna, when you were in Goshen. When you were in your little area, where you were able to do everything that you wanted to do, the ways of Hashem, the ways of your forefathers, when you were over there, you represented a super unique family, holy family, strong family. There was some charisma to all of you guys. We loved you there. When you started to come into our land, when you started to come into our markets, into our amphitheaters, into our, we don't like you there. Over there, we didn't like you. Over there, you weren't an addition to our lives. You weren't an addition to our society. You took away from us. We don't want Jews imitating Egyptians. We didn't want that. We liked you for what you stood for. We liked you that you were Yosef's brothers. We liked you that you were the children of Yaakov. We liked it that you believed in Hashem. We liked you like that. We accepted you like that. We wanted you like that. We don't like you for what you are right now, imitating and copying Egyptians. That we don't like. Now, Hashem said, we would be a light unto the nations. We are a light unto the nations. We are the people of the book. This is our purpose. In a few minutes we'll go into a little bit more, but that's our purpose. Hashem gave us a book and He says, you guys, you have a different mission. The whole world has billions of people, but I'm sending a special tactical unit into this planet. It's called Jews. And what do you have to do? Here's the instruction manual. Like we always call it, the basic instruction before leaving Earth, Bible. This is your instruction manual. You guys have a special mission. I didn't send you down to be like them. That's not the purpose. Beni Bechori, you are my firstborn, you're my chosen child. Not a cheap carbon copy of some other nation or some glorified version of a different nation. You know, you can either be a cheap copy or you can be even better than the original. The Jews, we can be sometimes better than the Goyim the way we act. How did we become that? How did we lose the identity of being a real Jew, the way God wants us to be? To be one carbon copy of a Goy. You take off the kippah, can you tell if I'm Jewish or not? Can you? If you don't have the simanim, the beard, or the peot, or maybe the tzitziot, can you tell? Sometimes you see a guy, or I see the most successful guy in the room, you look at him, I didn't know his name was Goldberg. I wouldn't even think that he's Jewish. We became so good, chameleons. Jews imitating other cultures is the root of anti-Semitism. As a matter of fact, why is there a rise in anti-Semitism right now? It's very simple. Too many Jews are not in the way of Hashem. That's it. It's like this. It's a scale. We're with God, we're not with God. We're in the ways of God, we're in the ways of the Goyim. You know what it looks like right now? Ways of the Goyim are winning. There's more Jews on the planet acting like Goyim and not enough in the ways of Hashem. In the ways of Hashem, peace, love, success, harmony, unity. Not in the ways of Hashem, hatred, anti-Semitism, and we have what we see today, this fear of walking around in New York City, of fear of being a Jew in the world. Because if we take ourselves as a whole, not individually, individually we're amazing. Each one has a special connection to God that they all, they all rely on to be safe in this world. But if you notice, everything about Judaism is in plural. Everything is about us. Please join us if you like. Okay. Everything is in plural. Our tefillah is in plural. Our mentality is in plural. Everything is about unity. The secret of the Jew is achdut. So us as a whole, if you want to see right now, hey, how are we doing? What's my score? Jewish nation. Are we close to God? Or are we far away from God? We're very far. Maybe we're 30% to 70%. Maybe we're 40 to 60. Who knows? But definitely right now the rise is that more Jews are far away from God than they are close to God. That's the rise of anti-Semitism. As a matter of fact, when the scales are tipped and they're not in our favor, there's a famous saying. And the saying is, Yehudi shelo mekadesh bahagoy ve'oseh lo havdalah. You know what that means? A Jew that doesn't want to be holy, that doesn't want Kadesh, what happens? Bahagoy v'oseh lo havdalah. The goy comes and he starts to separate him, tells him, let me tell you who you really are. All this whole thing over here, I know you don't go to shul, I know you don't eat kosher, I know you'll eat McDonald's with me, you'll even have a Christmas bush, you don't care about religion at all. You're still Jewish. You don't want to act Jewish? I'm going to tell you that the goy, the Gentile, is going to come up and he's going to do the havdalah for you. You're not me. You're Jewish. But I don't keep. Doesn't matter. You're Jewish. And that's what anti-Semitism is. Anti-Semitism is when the Gentile comes and puts you on the spotlight. You are Jewish and we don't like you. Why? The spiritual side of it, because you're far away from Hashem. Hashem is sending you a message because you're not walking into a shul to speak to Hashem. You're not opening up books to get to know Hashem. You're not speaking to Hashem. You're so far away from having a relationship from God that Hashem has to send messengers. What kind of messengers? Gentiles. Very aggressive Gentiles filled with hatred to tell you, hey, you're a Jew. In case you forgot. In case you're acting so much like them that you think it's unnoticed. You don't see Jews going to other Jews, hey, say you're not acting like a Jew. Hey, our kiruv, it's only to feed. Oh, we pet them. Please, come back. Come eat. Chabad. Come eat with us. Come, we'll fill up your belly. Can you say a bracha? Fill up your belly. Come on, maybe you can come to, donations, this, that. Like the way we bring people into the religion is not, it's amazing. Baruch Hashem for what it is. We have millions that already that have come back. But anti-Semitism is when Hashem says, all that didn't work. So I gotta yell at you, I gotta have a goy tell you, you're a Jew, I don't like you. And what does that make you feel? I'm a Jew? What kind of a Jew am I? Am I even close to understanding what Judaism is? In order for you to start asking questions that maybe like that you'll come back. The rise of anti-Semitism is Hashem tapping us on the shoulder. You forgot you're a Jew. Now, if you turn on the news, we're on the news for all the wrong reasons. We're on the news for all the wrong reasons. Madoff, a Jew, $1 billion scam. Epstein, a Jew, child trafficking. Weinstein, a Jew, head of Hollywood, rape and sex scandal. Turn on the Schiff, Nadler, Schumer, all the government scandals, Jews. Locally, I think there was a story in Florida, a 22-year-old Israeli girl that conned a 77-year-old man, tried to cash 3 checks of $330,000, wanted $1 million and run away with it. The Jew. We're in the news for all the wrong reasons. For all the wrong reasons. Now, to crystallize this, I'm going to give you a visual. Imagine a Buddhist monk. The big yellow robe, sheet all over him, shaved head, right? The beads, quiet, you know? Little Shaolin Kung Fu master, right? A Buddhist monk. Imagine if all of a sudden that guy is the top of the #1 Hollywood studio. Does that make sense? Looks off a little bit, right? Imagine, you go to Hollywood, who's making the biggest blockbuster movies? You see the picture of the Shaolin monk. Give you another thing. Let's say you go, who's the top Wall Street money earner? Who's the biggest maker over there? Forbes magazine, they're going to showcase it front of the cover. You see? You see that Shaolin guy? You see that guy with the yellow robe on him on the Forbes cover is big, the biggest money earner in Wall Street. How about if the New Yorker magazine wants to showcase the #1 real estate agent in all of New York City? Oh, so you see this Shaolin guy with yellow robe standing over it. It doesn't make sense, right? Why? Because when we see that guy, what do we expect him? You belong on top of a mountain, being a Buddhist monk, Shaolin Kung Fu master. There you fit. What are you doing in Hollywood? What are you doing selling real estate in New York? What are you doing at Wall Street? It makes no sense. That's how the Jews see us. That's how the Jews see us. That's how the Goyim see us. That's how the Goyim see us. What are you doing here? What are you doing in Hollywood? What are you doing in Wall Street? What are you doing being the top of real estate? You're God's children. You're the people of the book. Aren't you supposed to be the light onto the nations? Why aren't you that? Why are you the best businessman in the world, but not people of the book? Something is off. We are that Shaolin monk in Hollywood. We're that Shaolin monk on top of the New Yorker cover. What are we doing? It just doesn't fit. It just doesn't look right. To crystallize this point a little bit more, like I said, I want to play a little bit of devil's advocate with this subject. Why is there a rise of anti-Semitism attacks between blacks in New York City and the Jews. What's the connection? What's the connection? Why all of a sudden, when we think of racists, we think the guys in the sheets, Ku Klux Klan, white supremacists. All of a sudden, anti-Semitism took a new face. The hip-hop guy, the black dude, all of a sudden, he hates us, and the poll says 30% of African Americans in New York are anti-Semitic. What happened? What happened? Well, I saw a couple of things online where they interviewed them, and I'm going to try to paint the picture of their experience. Imagine we are African American. Imagine that the Jews right now are the ones that are living in those neighborhoods, and the African Americans are coming in. And they're basically saying, you come into our neighborhoods, you buy all the real estate, you buy all the shops, you raise all the rents, you raise all you leave us with no opportunities, you hire your own people, you take the money from our communities and you put them in bank accounts somewhere else, or you ship them out to Israel, and all you do is you take advantage of us, and then you leave us dry. Have you done anything for the community? Have you given back? Are there any opportunities? You come, you rape us, you take all our money, and you go. That's why we're upset at you. So if it was us, if it was a group of people that came in to Aventura and bought all our homes and raised all our rents and made everything more difficult, what would we say today? We would sit around this table and say, X, Y, Z, those are bad guys. Ever since they came to town, things have been difficult for us. Can you see their side? I'm not saying that what they're doing is right. And I know that half of the people over there maybe might not be as educated or as politically correct, and maybe they're all brute, and maybe there's all these different things that they're doing that is not right, and it doesn't come from that point. But at home, when they're sitting around the table and they don't have food or they're having hardships, it's because the Jewish landlord raised the price. Or because they can't find a job, because the Jewish landlords can't trust them in one of their stores or in one of their businesses. So they're frustrated. They're frustrated, so they have no problem getting out that frustration with anger and with violence. Can you see that point? Now, don't get me wrong. I know there's a lot of businessmen in the room, and you're going to tell me, excuse me, business is business. You know what that means? Every time I hear that, it bothers me a little bit. When people say business is business. You know what business is business meaning? Meaning, outside of business, I'm a tzaddik. I wake up at 6 in the morning, I pray Nes, I do my daf yomi, I give tzedakot, I help out my neighbor. If I see an old lady across the street, I help her work. But when it comes to business, cutthroat. Nobody's going to make $1 off of me. Nobody's going to get one bad deal, not going to give me one bad deal. I'm always going to come out top. What? Business is business. When it comes to money, if I can make 1 penny more, I'll do whatever I have to do. If I can make $1 more, I'll do whatever I have to do. Are those the business ethics of Jews? Business is business? Don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you not to make a living. We all need to make a living. We all have mortgages. We all have FPL. We all have kosher food bills, Jewish school. We need to make money. We're not supposed to be over here living in a tent and the book. Hashem doesn't want that for us either. I'm not saying that. As a matter of fact, I'll let you know what the Gemara said about it. But as people of the book, even when we do business, more is expected from us. A little bit more. A little bit more sensitivity. A little bit more Kiddush Hashem and not Chilul Hashem. If you're going to do something, how are they going to look at me as a person? How are they going to look at me as a Jew? Is my action right now going to make them love the Jewish people, hate the Jewish people, or you just don't care? Business is business. Well, many people have taken that approach, have taken that attitude, and right now 30% of blacks in New York City are anti-Semitic. Because they were not sensitive to their tenants. They were not sensitive to who they're working with, and maybe they should be or shouldn't be. But as a Jew, there's a concept of Chilul Hashem, and there's a concept of Kiddush Hashem. And when you're in Mitzrayim, when you're in America, when you're in Europe, which is not your homeland, you got to act a little bit differently. You don't open up a store next to the guy and do 50% off to get him out. You don't do that. You're supposed to be in Israel, in the Holy Land. You're not in the Holy Land. You're here. Make Kiddush Hashem. Be likable. Be pleasant. Let them say you're a welcome guest. Let them say you're a good resident alien. Not come here and bother and cutthroat and cheat and lie. I'm not putting labels on anybody. I'm just turning on the news. I just gave you 4 names of people that are in the news today. Today. I'm not giving us the history. Forgive me, Hashem. I'm not doing Lashon Hara on Jews. I just want to prove a point. What happens when a Jew doesn't have Torah in his life? And he takes the Goyish way so far that it goes off the deep end. So when the world sees all this, they start to have a view of what? Just like the Egyptians in Egypt. An identical view. Antisemitism is an old story. We become like them, too much like them. Antisemitism on the rise. They all attack us. We come to the default setting of a Jew. Only you can help me. Not my gun, not my pistol, not my AK, not my president, not my doctor, not my lawyer. Nobody can help me. Not my bunker. Nothing can help me. Only Hashem you can help me. Hello. Thank you for speaking to me. Now that you're back, come, I'll make them go away. Now, come. More people are talking to me. Finally. Hashem has a relationship with his children. You can tell me, listen, everybody's got to make a living. Everybody's got to make a living. In America, it's all about making the most amount of money in the shortest period of time. It's a sickness of the American psyche to make the most amount of money in the shortest period of time. You go to other cultures in the world, they don't feel like that. I recently saw a video, so interesting, of a Jewish tourist in Pakistan. When he got out of the airplane, he took out from the ATM $200. It's okay now, I have money to buy food, to buy this, to buy that. He starts his vacation. Fast forward to 8 days later, the guy has $190 still in his pocket. Everywhere he goes, he gets things for free. Food for free, presents for free, clothes for free, souvenirs for free. He didn't understand. He's like, please take my money. You're sitting there in clothes that look like you're a poor person. You're sitting on the floor. You're selling these things that are cost 2 cents, 3 cents. I'm sure you need the money. Please take from me. They said, no. In our culture, what's important is friends and family. And your friends and family, we can't take money from you. Could you imagine the guy was there for close to 2 weeks? He couldn't spend $1 because that culture wasn't the most amount of money in the shortest period of time. They had a different set of values. Kiddush Hashem. That's Kiddush Hashem. Too bad they're not Jewish. Imagine if every Jew opened up a store and would act like that. Again, I'm not saying that's the way to do it. But I thought it was incredible that a culture as a whole is practicing that in the day-to-day. The guy was all over the country and everywhere he went. That was the reaction. We are supposed to make money. But we can't, and we are supposed to do business. And Baruch Hashem, we know how to do business very well. However, it cannot be cutthroat. It can't be cutthroat. Cutthroat is Chilul Hashem. There's enough money. What's the difference between 1 million and 1,100,000? I don't know. What's the difference between 10 million and 50 million? I don't know. What's the difference between 50 million and 100 million? I don't know. What's the difference between 500 million and a billion? I don't know. I don't know, but I know with every single interaction, there's the right price that makes both people feel right, and there's Kiddush Hashem. Don't show me what it is on paper. I want to know what it is when you interact with real people in real scenarios, and at the end there's a Kiddush Hashem. We're supposed to be the people of the book. When we do business without consideration to the consequences to our business ethics, it might cause a big Chilul Hashem. So, we have to be different in the way we do business because people are watching. And now not only are they watching, but they're recording. And after they're recording, they're spreading it. That means you might have been able to get away with a few things up until 50 years ago because it's just in your city, it's just in your town. Maybe it'll be in the newspaper for a day or two and then it's gone. In the age of technology and the age of social media, you have to be extra careful on how you portray yourself as a Jew out in the world. You are not in Israel. You're in Miami. You're not in Israel. Not that it's okay in Israel either, but I'm just saying, you're in New York. You're interacting with Goyim. You're interacting with Mitzrayim. You have to put the hay in Mitzrayim. You have to put the hay in Goshen. Maybe I'm a hippie at heart. But I always like to say, how much money do you need? How much money do you need? How much? Okay, let's do basic calculation. Everything in the house is paid. The rent, the mortgage, the bills, the water, all that. All of the fridge is packed. The fridge is packed. You got 2 cars, 3 cars. You got money in the bank. How much? Let's say one guy needs 10,000, one needs 100,000, one you have 1 million. One needs 10 million, each one according to his level. They're supposed to be rich and poor in the world. There's no question. But when is enough? When do you say, Baruch Hashem, I got gas in my car, I got food in my fridge, I got clothes to wear, I got everything that I need. You know, I have money saved for a rainy day. Hashem, the faucet of money from God, it's never ending. Hashem takes and Hashem gives. When do you stop? When do you stop? When do you say enough? When do you say, okay, enough work, take and put the car to drive and go to shul? What's the Gemara for today? What's the Chumash for today? What's the Acha for today? Oh, finally, I have money. Let me make time to learn. When does it stop? And more people make money. No, longer hours, more money, more opportunities, more this, more that. Hashem brought you the success. It's a test. You made it. You have enough. You're not missing anything. When are you going to say, stop, and now back to the shul? Or, I have set times to learn. It's a famous machloket in the Gemara, in Masechet Brachot, between Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai and Rabbi Ishmael. It says, should a Jew study all day or work all day? Right? I'm telling you right now, I'm now campaigning, go back to shul, go back to the yeshiva, go back to learn, right? That's what we're here for, right? Go back to Goshna, right? So 2 big rabbis said, you live in the world. You want everybody to just go sit in there and read a book? What about the food? What about the kids? What about the bread? How's it going to be? So the question came up, should we work all day or should we study all day? They came with the conclusion, Amar Abaye, Harbe asuk Rabbi Ishmael v'ata be'adam. It says, a lot of people took the opinion of Rabbi Ishmael, which is you need to work. You need to work, otherwise you can't support yourself, and they were successful. And a lot did like Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai that said to study a lot, and he wasn't as successful as the workers. Meaning, people going out to work worked out, it made sense, the people were able to support their family. A lot of people coming to the shul and to studying, it didn't work out. Why? It says, harbe. What's harbe? A lot. Not everybody is successful at learning. Not everybody has the head to sit down and learn the book. A few can do that. A few can stay in the kollel all day long and learn. A lot of them failed. Okay, thank you for that research, but what's the bottom line? What do we need to do? They said, conclusion, half and half. Half they learn, half they work. Let me just stick this in there. Mi Tishrei, Ad Tishrei, Chutz Mi Tishrei. You have to know this right away in order for you to believe that you can work half a day and learn half a day. And your half a day, you can do it whichever way you want. 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours at night. Wake up earlier, go to sleep earlier. Whatever it is, you can still have your 6 or 8 hour work day, but you can do less. You can work 4 hours and learn 4 hours. How beautiful is that? Mi Tishrei Ad Tishrei. From the month of Tishrei, Ad Tishrei, until the next Tishrei, is all decided what you're going to be making on Tishrei. In other words, on that day, Hashem says, you're making $250,000. You can work 80 hours a week or 2 hours a week. It's going to be the same. It's going to be 250. Mi Tishrei Ad Tishrei gets decided at Tishrei. The other part that they say, Chutz Mi Tishrei, they say except for Tishrei. What does that mean? Torah, Shabbat, Rosh Chodesh, and Yamim Tovim. Anything that you spend on Torah, on Shabbat, on Rosh Chodesh, on Yamim Tovim. So let's just say right now you go off on the holidays. You go off on Shabbat. You go off on Sifrei Torah and Aliyot and this and that. And you spent 100,000 on honoring Torah, Rosh Chodesh, Shabbat, and Yamim Tovim. That year you're going to make 350. It doesn't count that. It's not included. Mi Tishrei, Ad Tishrei, Chutz Mi Tishrei. So if you are in the emunah mindset that if you don't put in 10 hours you're not going to make the money, okay, that's your mindset. But I can guarantee you that there's another Jew that says, I'm coming to do my ishtadlut. What's my ishtadlut? I'm coming to make my effort. I come to office from 11 to 3. In the morning, I study a little bit. After 3, I go learn a little bit more. Or in the nighttime, because I want to do what Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and Rabbi Ishmael said. Half day and half day. Which gives you what? Gives you everything that you need for your life to support yourself. But you also stay connected to the book. You stay connected to be a Jew. The rise of anti-Semitism is that the people took away the book and they did all work. There's no spirituality. Hashem says, Jews with no spirituality doesn't work in my world. I need to now wake you up. How? If the Goyim even tell you, come, you're a Jew. You forgot you're a Jew. And we hate you because you forgot you're a Jew. We love you, like in the Mitzrayim, when you act like a Jew. Because you're a light unto the nations. In conclusion, today we've become consumed by the mighty dollar and we abandon the Torah. Well, for all of you that say Shir HaShirim on Friday night, I'm going to give you one pasuk that's going to give you the chills right now. It did to me the first time I learned it. In the first chapter of Shir HaShirim, Shlomo HaMelech writes a pasuk that is incredible. It says, Al tir'uni shani shechachoret sheshezafatni hashamesh. Don't look at me that I'm all tan and I'm black. I'm unrecognizable. Why? Because the sun tanned me. It changed the color of my complexion. Bnei imi nicharubi, because the sons of my mother, or the relatives of my mother, have come on top of me and put pressure on me. Samuni notera et hakeramim. They put me as a guard over the vineyards. Karmi sheli lo natarti. And my own vineyard I neglected. What does this pasuk mean? You know, there's a concept of the sun and the moon. We are the moon and the goyim are the sun. When he says this, Shashem Shezafatni, he says, I was under the influence of the goyim so much that it changed the way that I look. I don't even look the same. You don't even recognize me. He says, "Al tiruni shani shechachoret sheshazavatni hashamesh." Don't look at me like this. I'm not this. I'm under the influence of the goyim, so I'm unrecognizable as a Jew. Why? Because the goyim, they plucked me out of my setting and they put me to watch their vineyard. They say, "Ooh, you're such a smart Jew. Come be the head of my movie studio. Ooh, you're such a smart Jew. Come be a head of my real estate firm or my brokerage firm." They put us, we're in charge of all their businesses. Karmi Sheli, my business. My business. My Torah business. Karmi Sheli lo natarti. I don't have time. They got me busy watching their businesses. I can't watch my own. That's what Shlomo HaMelech is telling us in Shir HaShirim. That's what's happening here. They took us and they made us so buy into the mighty dollar that we forgot our heritage, we forgot Hashem, we forgot the Torah. And that's where there's a rise in anti-Semitism. And Hashem sends the Goyim to remind us that we're Jewish. Finally, we go to this week's parasha. All this was leading to that. Parashat Vayechi. Yaakov Avinu says, I want to tell you what's going to happen in the end of days. He wanted to let us know what's going to happen in the end of days. So if you go to Perek Memtet, Pasuk Aleph, it says over there, Vayikra Yaakov el Banav. Yaakov called all his sons. You have to understand, he's at his deathbed. He's about to die, and he's bringing all his children to give him blessings. Vayikra Yaakov el Banav. Yaakov calls his sons. Vayomer, and he tells them, Heasefu, gather. Vagid alachem, and I will tell you, Et asher yikra etchem ba'achrit hayamim. What's going to happen in the end of the days? And what happens? Hashem, the Shekhinah, makes him forget. And he says, whoa, why did I forget? Are they not worthy? Are they not worthy of me telling them? And then the whole story goes with the blessings, the Shema Yisrael. We did many classes about that. I'm not going to repeat it. But on just this pasuk alone, it's very much connected to this day and age. The state of the Jews at the end of days. When is the end of days? Now. Today. We are now in the end of days. I'll prove it to you. I'm going to prove it to you?
Yeah.
You want me to open up the newspaper and show you that this is the end of days? Today is the end of days? You got it. In Masechet Avodah Zarah. So that's the Gemara from thousands of years ago. It talks over there, Tosfot talks about what's happening today. I'll read it off to you. Veha amrinan, and it is said, Atida paras shetipol beyad Romi. It is prophesied that Paras, Persia, Iran, will fall in the hand of Romi, America. Hainu, when? Samuch lebiat HaMashiach. At the time of the coming of Mashiach. Kede amrinan, like he said somewhere else in Masechet Sanhedrin, Atida malchut Romi, shetifshot al kol ha'olam tisha chodashim. It is prophesied that Romi, America, the Christians, are going to be in control of the entire world for 9 months. Why 9 months? Because during those 9 months it's going to be called Hevle Mashiach. Like Hevle Leda. What's Hevle Mashiach? How does a woman give birth? When she's ready to give birth, every 10 seconds, right? I'm sorry, every 10 minutes, every 5 minutes, every 4 minutes, every 3 minutes, push, and then she gives birth. In the time of Mashiach, it's going to be like that. Terrorist attack, another terrorist attack, another bomb, another war, another, it's going to be the world. Every time you turn on the news, tragedy, until after 9 months, Mashiach comes. Let's read it again. V'ha damina atida Paras, Iran of today, shetipol beyad Iran. All this thing that they're talking right now, war with Iran, bring it on. America wins. And after America wins, there's going to be havoc. There's going to be Gog and Magog. Incredible. They said that Magog, you know the word Armageddon, the word Magog, if you take the numerical value of the letters, it's 52. And today I saw that, what did Trump say? I will hit 52 main spots in Iran. 52, Magog. The time of Mashiach is now. It's now. It's now. And we're losing. We're losing. We're not on the scales are not tipping to our advantage. It's not good. So what does Yaakov tell us? Ha'asefu v'agid alachem asher yikra itchem b'achit hamim. Gather, and I'm going to tell you what's going to happen in the end of days. Over here, there's a cryptic message. There's a cryptic message.
Cryptic, you said.
Cryptic. Cryptic. Something is hidden in it. Pay attention. The Jews in Israel are divided. All of Israel is sects, sections and sections of people. It's a small country with 14 miflagot. The word miflaga means pilig, division. 14 different parties in the government. How can you create a country with 14 different heads? Each one thinking different. Israel is divided. As a matter of fact, I saw a video not too long, like a few years ago, that says, how do you know? How do you know when to attack the Jews? There was an imam on Friday in one of their big mosques. He says, when the Jews are united, do not fight. You will lose, you will lose, you will lose. He says, but when they're divided, attack, attack, attack. How divided is Israel? They know. The Arabs know when to attack. We are divided in Israel. In the galut, in the diaspora, what are we? Hitbolelut. Intermarriage and assimilation is an all-time high. More than the time of the Holocaust. 70% of Jews in the Gola married a non-Jew, unaffiliated with a synagogue, don't practice Judaism. Atheism is on the rise. It rose by 30% in the past decade. 30% more than 10 years ago. People don't even believe in a God. Look what's happening in the world. Yaakov tells us, Ha'asefu. What's Ha'asefu? Gather. Unite. What's unite? Start to become together. Ha'asefu v'agid alachem asher yikra otchem b'achit hamim. In the end of days, you need to be united. Israel, you need to be united. In the Galut, you have to come back to being Echad. What's Echad? Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. They forgot to be Echad. Yaakov is giving us the advice, both for the Galut and both for Israel. Israel needs unity, America needs Torah. That's what we need at the end of days. Because at the end of the day, what makes you Jewish? Only one thing made us Jewish. When the Jews left Egypt on Har Sinai, Hashem gave us the Torah made us Jews. Bnei Yisrael means that we're the sons of Israel, we're the sons of Yaakov. Jews, the Torah makes us Jewish. If you don't have a Torah in your life, you're not a Jew. You're a Jew by birth, but you're acting like a goy. And we know that Hashem, we see you see the effect of that. Today was Yud B'Tevet. We just finished a fast. Some of us didn't eat all day. Some of us have cried over Yerushalayim. What happened on Yud B'Tevet? It's very strange. On Yud B'Tevet there was a siege by the kid Nebuchadnezzar around Jerusalem. In other words, here's Jerusalem. We got surrounded and we fast on this day because of that. How important is this day? So important that if Yud B'Tevet ever lands on a Shabbat, it pushes a Shabbat. Like Kippur. Did you know that? Yud B'Tevet, if it ever lands on a Shabbat, but it never did, it probably never will, Be'ezat Hashem, Mashiach comes soon. Yud B'Tevet, if it lands on Shabbat, it pushes Shabbat. Tisha B'Av, the day of the destruction, Yud Zay B'Tamuz, the day of all the hardest day, we push. Shabbat, no, we do it Sunday. Yud B'Tevet, no. Why? Why is that? Because we got sieged? That's more than a destruction? Makes no sense. The rabbis tell us why is because the siege happened on Yud B'Tevet. You know how long the siege was for? 10 years. 10 years the Jews tolerated the Goyim around them, and they got used to it, and they got used to the Antisemitism, and they got used to that treatment. Until 10 years they breached the walls and it happened. But for 10 years you tolerated it? Hashem says, no, on this day you have to fast. Why? Because you didn't act quickly enough. When something like that happens, you happen immediately. You don't just get used to it and get used to it and get used to it. Look at the Jews in Israel. They have 6,000 rockets falling on them on a Tuesday. Life goes on. They got used to it. They got used to it. Yud B'Tevet is coming to teach us, don't get used to it. Don't get used to it. The anti-Semitism that's on the rise, don't get used to it. Don't get used to it. Do your part. I'm not telling you to go march in the streets. I'm not telling you to go start a foundation. I'm not telling you to go get a gun and start being ready to be Rambo on the street if somebody looks at you the wrong way because you have a kippah. I'm telling you, pick up the book. Pick up the book. Wake up in the morning, pray. Learn a halakha. Learn musar. Parashat Shavua. At night, find a good rabbi that you like. Find a class that you like. Step up your Torah learning. Step up your Torah learning. Your Torah learning is what's going to tip. Because we think we're in a physical war. But it's not. We're in a spiritual war. And nothing comes from the heavens. And nothing happens below if it doesn't happen in the heavens first. The fight is in the heavens. The Kedusha in the heavens is low. And that's where the anti-Semitism is high. That's why in Israel, when they're fighting, the yeshiva boys fight from learning. Are you kidding me? They're the ones that are keeping the soldiers alive. The guy that's over there at 3 o'clock in the morning learning Gemara is keeping that soldier on the field alive. It's a spiritual war. We're losing the spiritual war, and we're just seeing it physically because we're in the physical world. We're not in the heavens. In the heavens, we'll see it spiritually. Here we see it physically. Physically, it's a sign that we're far away from the book. Do your part. Learn a little bit more. Step up your Jewish game. Be a little bit more Jewish. Learn a little bit more Torah. Get a little bit closer to Hashem. Bring the hay to Aventura. Bring the hay to Goshna. Bring the hay to Mitzrayma. Bring the hay into the Galut. Otherwise, what are you doing here? You came here to be like them? That's not what Hashem put us on this planet for. Typically, this is a different class. It's more Torah. This is a little bit more Musar and more about anti-Semitism because it's what's going on right now. But it was very relevant to the parasha. As the Hashem, next week we'll come back to our old.